Hey there guys, quick post-fight review. So, George Groves dominates Chris Eubank Jr. on way to a unanimous decision victory, becomes the WBA and now the IBO Super Middleweight World Champion, advancing to the semi-finals of the World Boxing Super Series tournament, blah blah blah. So, it was a good fight, it was entertaining, I enjoyed it from start to finish. But the first thing I want to talk about is the disgraceful 115-113 score. If I heard it correctly, I'm pretty sure I did. The fight just ended about a minute ago, and that score of 115-113, it's fucking disgusting. I hope that judge gets banned. Don't know what the fuck he's looking at. You know, I would like to sit down with somebody and have them explain to me, you know, watch the fight in slow motion or in HD or whatever, and have somebody explain to me what on earth that judge was watching, and how he was able to give Eubank Jr. even a share of so many rounds. So he's claiming that Groves only won this fight by 2 points. I don't even know what to say. I've seen this shit before in boxing and it does my head in. You know, every time this happens, it just makes the sport look a joke. And this is why so many people are turning away from boxing, is because of nonsense like this. Sorry about that. So, yeah, this is just I mean, it was a disgraceful score, but to be perfectly honest, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, the right man won. George Groves dominated the fight, in my opinion, start to finish. I mean, I always knew that if Groves could maintain distance, and I said this in my prediction video, you can check it out, if he can maintain distance, keep a cool head, box responsibly, and box behind a jab, and don't get too involved, you know, don't get too emotional in there, don't allow the antics of Eubank to get under his skin, then he could win the fight, and he could win the fight convincingly. But in the past, George Groves has shown that he's quite emotional in the ring, like against Carl Froch. He bought into all the trash talk and the antics. He got pissed off, you know, he took way too many risks in that fight. He was the better fighter than Froch, okay? He was schooling him in that first fight, knocked him down, he was the harder puncher, he had the quicker hands, quicker feet, better balance, better defense, but he gave away his advantages in the fight because he just got so emotionally invested in the fight. And I always felt he needed a strong trainer like Adam Booth in his corner, who he's no longer with, to keep him under control. And in this Eubank fight, thankfully, he kept his cool the whole fight, even in the 12th round when Eubank was goading him and dropping his hands and, you know, trash talking and, you know, doing all those stupid little shoulder and you know, puffing his chest out and saying, come on, let's have a fight. Groves wasn't having any of it. You know, he held when he needed to, he you know, stayed on the ropes and just bided his time and got through the round and gave the round away, but he was clearly ahead in the fight. So, you know, he showed a much more mature boxing brain in that instance. And yeah, they got the tactics spot on. Him and the McGuigans, I mean, they've worked together really well. As for Eubank, I've got to say, guys, when I was watching the ring entrance, when Eubank was on his way to the ring, did you guys notice that Eubank, his eyes looked as if they were red and they were watery? It looked to me as if he'd been crying. So I think that perhaps the occasion of this fight, and perhaps just being on a stage like this that he's never been in before, perhaps Eubank just couldn't handle it mentally, and perhaps he froze, and perhaps he just didn't really have the, you know, the mental toughness, because, you know, going into the fight, he's been very you know, very vocal. He's been bragging a heck of a lot. I mean, that's just the type of person he is. He always brags. He always does them stupid facial expressions. Precise actually did a really good video where he was talking about how a lot of what Eubank does is just artificial. You know, he's a narcissist who always tries to, you know, try and give off the illusion of being extremely confident. And I think that he actually cracked under the pressure. And he did the same thing against Saunders in that fight. You know, he kind of froze in the first few rounds. And I think that that's a similar problem he had here. I think that Eubank just didn't perform, you know, to the best of his ability. To me, he just didn't have the, like I said, he didn't really have the confidence or the, you know, the, well, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what it is. You know, he wasn't battle hardened enough to go into a situation like this and keep his cool. And I think that had a negative effect on his performance, and it really showed. But great performance by George Groves, got the win, dominant performance. He goes on to fight the winner of Smith versus Bramer. It's going to be a good fight next week. He did sustain a shoulder injury in this fight, so I'm not sure if maybe that fight will have to be postponed. But we'll see what happens anyway. Great performance by Groves. Let me know what you guys think. And thanks for watching.